Welcome back to Fix It or Ignore It. Today we're going to be talking about your net worth. And not only just your net worth, let's talk about the situation that we hear often about is people say, my net worth is not increasing and I'm still working. So they're, in theory, in that savings, that growth and accumulation mode, but their net worth is not building. So let's first step back and what is net worth? Well, simply put, it's basically all of your assets added together minus any liabilities, any debts that you have, and that should be your net worth. Now, hopefully that's a positive number, obviously, and you want to see that number grow over your life typically. You know, think of like your home, if you own your own home. So you would take your home value minus any mortgages or debt obligations you have against that, and that's kind of the net worth of that asset. So you take and add your savings in there, your retirement accounts in there, other maybe assets that you have in there, and then that comes up with your net worth. So if that's not growing and you're still in that growth and accumulation mode, we have a challenge here. So what do I usually say? We have two options, right? We can fix it or we can ignore it. First, what does ignoring it look like? Well, it's kind of, again, turning that blind eye to that, ignoring that check engine light that comes on in your car and continue driving along. The same concept here is you know that you're not building wealth in your own personal life and your family life, and you're just going to choose to kind of just keep going along and doing the motions, going to work and kind of doing what you're thinking. But let's assume we're going to try to fix this. We're going to try to see and grow our wealth, and so we can have these assets later in life to either live off of or to pass on to loved ones and family members and such like that. So what are some things that could be causing this drop in net income or us not to be getting anywhere? One, too much debt. Think high interest debt, especially like credit cards, sometimes auto loans, stuff like that. You're paying too much money out on debt service of your assets. So the too much things that have debt and likely too high of interest rates. You're flat just spending too much money. You know, whatever maybe is coming in is what's going out from a week to week or month to month scenario. So just your expenses and your spending are far greater than what you're saving. So therefore, again, your net worth isn't increasing, you're spending that. And then you're owning depreciating assets potentially. So typically we want to get into stuff that we're growing, that is building wealth. You know, think of like a home as an example. In most cases, that home is increasing in value over time. Depreciations go the other way. Commonly, that's generally vehicles as an example many people go to. So you buy a vehicle off the lot, the second you drive it off the lot, typically it's worth a little bit less, right? That's depreciating, it's going the other way. If you drive it long enough, there starts to be challenges, it gets higher mileage, maybe it needs maintenance. If you go to sell that car, it's obviously gonna be less than what you paid for. Now there's some arguments about classic cars and all that sort of stuff, but we're not gonna get into that great detail today, an argument with that. But generally speaking, again, stay away from those depreciation assets. Some of them we have to have, right? Transportation, probably have to have a car, but just tend to stay away from those from a net worth building sort of thing. So let's look at trimming expenses that get that spending under control so we can save more or be paying off those debts, okay? Also, increase salary. Easier said than done, right? So again, if you're finding that your salary or your wages aren't enough to keep up or aren't enough to be spending and allowing you to save, look at some other options. Can you work more? Can you ask for a raise? Or maybe it's time to consider a career change to something that can look at building some more wealth. Finally, review your investment plan. The assets that you do have saved, are they working hard for you? You've worked hard to get those. Make sure all that money is working for you. Make sure stuff in savings or checking, make sure that's earning some interest, especially in today's interest rate environments. You know, making sure there's some things there. Making sure your retirement savings is appropriately invested, and making sure you have that big plan so that way going down the road you can plan to retire and then live that life you've always dreamed of. So again, hopefully you found that helpful, looking at that net worth equation and looking at some of those things and how it may affect your life. So hopefully you choose to fix this versus ignoring it.